Well, one good thing about Donald Trump, I have to say, is that he's unpredictable. He can change his mind. So I still have hope. He's just had his first phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky since yelling at him and throwing him out of the White House. And this time said, well, their 1 hour call was positive, terrific, even though Trump refused Zelensky's request for more anti-missile defences. Trump just said, I'll see if Europe can supply them. Trump this time curiously dropped any mention of Ukraine giving him its rare earths, what he used to treat as a deal breaker, pay us back. Instead, Trump suggested America take over Ukraine's nuclear power stations, saying that would guarantee Russia wouldn't take over Ukraine, which also suggests that even Trump now does not trust Vladimir Putin anymore. Even after Putin yesterday told him, oh, look, I'm going to agree to this, a very partial ceasefire where Russia and Ukraine don't attack the other's energy facilities. But as I told you yesterday, that wasn't really a Putin concession anyway. I mean, Russia only agreed to that because Ukraine now makes its own missiles and was picking off Russia's oil facilities and spreading fear inside Russia. This partial ceasefire wasn't a Russian concession, it was a Russian advantage. So where's it all going to end up? Joining me is a Bolt Report regular commentator, a man that Donald Trump wanted to be his defense secretary, a man who has briefed Trump's special envoy to Ukraine, General Jack Keane. General Keane was Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army and a four-star general, is now chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General Keane, great to see you. Looking forward to you shedding some light on all this. It seems to me that Donald Trump is now finding out that Russian President Vladimir Putin is not serious about peace or even a ceasefire, certainly not in the immediate future. So what does Donald Trump do now?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I think President Trump likely knew that Putin would delay and seek some concessions before moving in the direction of a ceasefire. But I think he also was hoping that would not happen. But here we are. And let's remind ourselves that President Zelensky did have some conditions prior to making a ceasefire. Normally what he said was security guarantees. In other words, deter Russia from attacking again. And President Trump took that rather severely and obviously suspended military aid to Ukraine and also took away our intelligence capability until President Zelensky agreed to come forward for a ceasefire, 30 days, no conditions. Putin obviously said no ceasefire for 30 days, a partial ceasefire dealing with the energy sector only. And so our viewers understand, Andrew, this is not just about Putin attacking energy infrastructure inside of Ukraine as the reason for this. Putin is agreeing to it because the Ukrainians have been hitting systematically oil refineries and power plants inside of Russia and have been doing this for weeks. So here's what I think has happened. Putin talks very nice, is very affable and friendly with President Trump, wants to go to strategic, improve relations to help peace and stability in the world, all very rosy kind of statements that have been made to endear President Trump to this relationship, but he plays tough. And now we're seeing the toughness come out. And a couple of other things I think should happen is, number one, I think they should sign a mineral deal. My sources, Andrew, tell me that Russia really does not want the Ukrainians and the United States in that deal, because that brings both of those countries together economically and politically, at least for a generation.
Yeah, but what frustrates me, General, is that you have been one of the leading people warning for I don't know how long, that this is exactly the kind of person that America has to deal with. Putin can't be trusted, wants it all, wants Ukraine to surrender, wants it to be a sitting duck for any future Russian invasion. You've warned about all this. Donald Trump seems to me to have thought, oh no, Ukraine's the problem, I can deal with Putin. He's now learning exactly what you said, but only after weakening Ukraine in the public mind and also militarily. Is it going to dawn with him that he's really got to step up to Putin and not keep bashing Ukraine?
I kind of suspect he's there, but obviously I wasn't in the discussion. But the feedback I've got, I believe he really does know now. I mean, he's had the previous conversations where, Putin told him that he was willing to meet, with his emissaries and discuss a peace agreement. And I think coming away from that, I paid a lot of attention to our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. They've had a couple of sessions with the Russians. And I know Rubio still is skeptical whether the Russians are really serious about an eventual peace agreement. And the reason is, in Rubio's mind, he doesn't believe that President Trump will make anywhere near the concessions that Putin wants. The other thing is that, in the history that Putin is dealing with, the Minsk II agreement in 2014, Obama was involved, and it so favored Russia that he gave him the capability to make Ukraine vulnerable, just as you were indicating, so he could reattack at a time of his choosing. You're absolutely right, Andrew. This is his immediate objective. Come out of the ceasefire, come out of a peace agreement where Ukraine is weaker and vulnerable, and he can rearm, and at a point when President Trump is likely no longer in office, reattack not only Ukraine, but to exploit his objectives in Eastern Europe as well.
Well, I do hope you get a call from Donald Trump soon to pick your brains again, because I do think this needs to be addressed very, very quickly, this what the real Putin is like. Meanwhile, General, Israel, it's ended the 6 week or so ceasefire with Hamas terrorists in Gaza after Hamas stopped releasing any more Israeli Jewish prisoners, hostages rather. It sent its soldiers back into the territory, hundreds of people more dead, with Hamas actually ordering, this is interesting, it's ordered local journalists or foreign journalists based in Gaza, if there are many left at all, not to name who Israel's been killing, I presume because they are Hamas operatives. Where is this war going?
Well, what has happened here is the Israelis tried to negotiate with Hamas over hostage release for prisoner exchange, something we've seen on a number of occasions now. Hamas rejected that. Steve Witkoff, who is President Trump's Middle East envoy, attempted to negotiate an extension of the ceasefire that had been going on in excess of the planned time, which was 42 days. Hamas rejected that. President Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, made the decision to send troops back in on a limited military operation, their words, limited, the intended purpose of which is to force Hamas to go back to hostage release, prisoner exchange, and a potential ceasefire. If that doesn't happen in a reasonable amount of time, I know this for a fact from my sources, General Zamir, Z-A-M-I-R, who was the NED chief of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, and he has been put in charge because he is more aggressive and more thorough and more risk-taking than what his predecessor is. And he has put a campaign together to go back in to once and for all, eliminate Hamas as much as possible.
Yes, I have seen that mounting opposition in Israel to any attack because, yes, for the lives of the remaining hostages, they would be put at risk. But I don't know what the alternative really is, General, if Hamas is not releasing the hostages. Thank you so much indeed for your time. I really appreciate those insights.
Yeah, it's great talking to you, Andrew. Thank you.